This is a young brother from the Bronx, which is where I'm from originally. His name is Richie Torres. I believe that he is going to be an up-and-comer just like Nina Turner. I believe she is definitely an up-and-comer, but this young brother came from the projects, just like, well, actually, I didn't come from the projects, but I lived right by the projects. I lived in an apartment building, and I'm not going into the details there, but ultimately my people, a bunch of my people went into the projects. So you could say I'm kind of from the projects. All my buddies lived in the projects. So, but this young brother came from the projects, and you want to call it, pulled himself up by his bootstraps. You know, he had a single mom, and he is where he is now. He's a New York City councilman from the Bronx, and I give major props to Richie Torres and hope that great things are in his future.
Yes, now New York City Council member Richie Torres, who escorted Bernie Sanders yesterday in Brooklyn. So Richie, it finally happened. At first, the letter went out in February inviting candidates to visit public housing. They ignored it. The letter went out 2 weeks ago. They ignored it. You came on this program and talked about it, and they paid attention. Yeah. Hillary Clinton went on Friday. Bernie Sanders got back from Rome, and he looked like it was the first thing he wanted to do. And Bernie Sanders came back today, right?
He did.
He did yesterday.
He went not once, but twice.
And today he went to where you and I were last week. And so you have not endorsed anyone in this campaign, and now that you've had this opportunity, what's your choice?
So I've made a decision to endorse Bernie Sanders, even though I have immense respect for both candidates. I do believe he represents a singular phenomenon in progressive politics. He's made inequality, urban poverty, the centerpiece of progressive politics, of the presidential election. He's energizing young people to an extent I've never seen before, at a time when our country has a real crisis of political and civic disengagement. You know, when he held a rally in St. Mary's Park, he turned out 19,000 people. In Washington Square Park, 27,000 people. In Prospect Park, 28,000 people. Like, there's something powerful going on here, and I want to be a part of it.
But New York politicians, Democratic politicians like yourself, overwhelmingly backing Hillary Clinton. Was this tough for you?
It was a decision based on values. And, you know, for me, the story of public housing tells a larger story about the social contract. You know, the federal government, public housing is a social contract. It's based on the belief that every American, whether you're rich or poor, should have access to a decent life, access to safe, decent, and affordable housing. And for decades, the federal government has been violating that covenant with the urban poor. And I believe the candidate who speaks most powerfully to that and most compellingly is Bernie Sanders.
Richie Torres gets tonight's last word. Richie, you really had an effect on these campaign schedules. They had to change things for you in the last few days.
As well as, you know, a few tenant leaders and a 28-year-old kid from the Bronx reshape a presidential race.
Yeah. Thank you very much,
Thank
Richie.
you.
Chris.
Major props to this brother. This brother is an up-and-comer, elegant speaker, knows exactly what he's talking about, and I foresee great things for this young man.